Good to see you.
Yes. Better bills, but they are. And I still love you.
Hello. Today's meeting is brought to you by Antonio's Outfit. If you could please stand up, we would appreciate it. Can you guys hear me? You look great. Oh, thank you. Hello? Can you guys hear me okay? Zoomies? Can you hear me? I'm a 90s kid, and so Zoomies was the coolest store ever. Remember?
Yes.
I even have a tramp stamp. It's true. Tattoo. Like I am the actual 90s kid. But so Zoomies is positive from a 90s kid. I called them Zoomies and I said I'm a 90s kid, so Zoomies was the coolest store ever.
Oh, yeah.
And my tramp stamp is my like physical representation of being a 90s kid. Yeah. Oh no, what was it? Did we ever find out? Oh boy. I will say though that most tramp stamps were butterflies and I was way too cool for that. So I have a star. This is the little guy. Hey!
Or his tramp stamp.
Or his tramp stamp. That would be the best.
No, I can't unsee it.
I have a few stories about that. We won't share right now. Okay. I have some stories. If you ever want to talk about New York City, I have a few stories about the city. Okay. Let's go. And some stories about that. How was your week? How is everybody? I missed you last week. I'm sorry I couldn't be here, but I heard it was awesome. Thank you, Brock, for doing all of that last week. And Mike, appreciate you. What do you need to talk about? What are your bucket fills?
Well, I just want to shout out to everyone. I feel like I would do this without a microphone.
You all are so welcoming whenever a new face comes. Oh, it's so good to see you. So welcome and thank you for always being welcoming and loving towards new faces. It means a lot to me and to them.
You never know when somebody needs a smile or a friendly face, right? Speaking of friendly face, let's go, Nick.
I'm going to shout out our team leader, Dylan, on the blue team. That's right. Yeah. Yep, on the blue team. That guy, he emails every single day, every morning with like, it's long, it's thoughtful, it's personal, it's crazy. It's pretty awesome.
Good. Thanks.
So
oh,
I'm pumped.
I was a recipient of one of his cards. Thank you so much. It meant a lot to me. When's the last time you got a handwritten card from someone?
Yesterday from Dylan.
It feels so amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Same. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Okay, so our lunch is being provided by Floor Coverings International. They're a mobile showroom. They're going to be here a little bit later to talk about it. They're bringing us lunch. Better be good. Woo! So, yeah. Blue.
Dylan, go.
Dylan's going. Dylan is going. This is awesome, you guys. It was my goal to get 50 agents involved. And we surpassed that, so I'm excited. Hopefully it's helping get into some good habits. If you haven't started it, or if you stopped doing it, or if you bailed out, just jump back on this wagon. Is the wagon the thing you want to be on or off? I never know what that is. Like I fell off the wagon or I'm back on you want to be on the wagon. Okay, if you're off it, let's get back on. If you're on it, let's stay. Yeah? Okay. Okay, Lisa, I had a bunch of questions this morning on the coaching call, the coaching huddle this morning about this. So give us your.
Oh, shoot them at me. What are your questions?
There was a couple of questions of where to find the information that they had seen just one email go out. And I referred them to the newsletter
Awesome.
where it's in there. So is there going to be another?
So it's been posted 3 or 4 times now in our Facebook group, how to get the tickets, and that is the attachment there. And it has gone out a couple of times in email. And I just talked to Erin this morning about sending it out through text.
Perfect.
Like to send it out tomorrow or today through text, and again next Monday.
Okay.
And it will continue to be posted in the Facebook page. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me. Happy to answer them.
Perfect.
Most of them are in that email. So if you just search Kuahara Farms or Kuahara in your email, you'll find it.
Good luck spelling it.
Yeah. And so the people that have ordered tickets, it's in the email, there's the Google form link to order your tickets. If you need to order more, just go back to that link and put more tickets in.
So one of the questions was, can they send the QR code, like screenshot the QR code and send it to the clients, or does it have to be in the email?
Great question. You can do it a couple of ways, and that's kind of explained in that email. The first way is you can, so I'm going to send everybody that signs up through the Google form, I send the Eventbrite link to so they can enter their own. You can either enter them all under your name and order just one bulk amount of tickets. You can order up to 100 just in your name at one time, and then you can go again and put more if you have a big group of people that you're inviting. And then that is going to be one of the things you have to do is put it under your name when you do that. So you would put your name and your email address, and the tickets would go to you. And then when we check you in, all you have to do is give your clients, all they have to do is give the agent's name, and we will just go through and swipe that. And it's so fast
much
and
better,
easy.
yeah.
But if you want to do them individually, the tickets, then you put it in your client's name, how many tickets they want for their group, their email. And then there's also a slot to put the agent's name so we know what agent has invited those people. And then the tickets will go directly to them. So then when they go, they can either bring that ticket that has the QR code, or they can just say, I am so-and-so, and we'll find their name and
Got it.
swipe off their
But
tickets.
the best practice, the easiest and the most efficient for the clients is to just give the agent's name.
Yeah,
So
That's,
purchase them under your
that
name.
would be amazing.
Got it. Okay.
Easy and amazing, and easy for us to calculate numbers of tickets as well per agent and that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you for
Anybody
doing
else
all
have a
this. Do you
question?
Any other questions?
If I do like buy 100 tickets and I just put my name on them all, they don't need to bring anything with them. They're not going to get an email. They're just going to show up in whoever's at check-in. Hopefully it's me when I see them, if there might be people there. They won't have anything to scan. We'll have a roster. And once you hit a number of tickets, 8 people here for Mike, and then they can go right in. They get their wristband.
Yep.
Perfect. Thanks.
Oh, this is me. I have.
Hey, this is cute.
Okay.
Here.
Mine's your mic.
Do you want this one or do you want
Let me
this
just
one?
do this. Right, so that's just to get you in the mood.
I was on the Price is Right once.
Oh, it's just not stopping. Let's just,
It's the Price is Right. That's another story. I was on the Price is Right.
oh.
She was on The Price is Right. We got to hear that one. So I don't know if you know this, but every day I have the opportunity to call 20 agents in our industry and get to know them. Some are really nice and some are just, that's okay. Just going to leave it at that. But it's so much more powerful for me to be able to say, hi, this is Carrie. Shelley is not only a friend, but she's done a deal with you. So I am asking you to just think back newbies, you have a pass, but you could just put a loving message on this if you want. Unless you know someone. Maybe you went to school with someone and they went elsewhere. But if you could just think of one person, you don't even need their contact info. I'll figure all of that out. Write it on the card and just give it back to me at the end of the day. We'll just pass this around. And I know it's a stretch and it might make you uncomfortable for 2 seconds, but you know what? When we're uncomfortable, we grow. And that is our ultimate goal here. You're amazing. We want you in clones. We want more of you. So who do you know?
Thanks. Let's go. And this other benefit is you get profit share. Right? We'll pay you for that. Okay, so this is coming up. It's almost sold out, you guys. This Marty Miller, he's awesome. So if you have gaps in your business, this is a really great opportunity to come and hear from him. He's actually flying in. He's doing this for free for us, flying in specifically from Texas for this. This will be a really good opportunity to talk about technology and how you're utilizing it to the highest level. There's been so many changes. It's hard to keep up on all of it. So spending some time to really double down on it and get you the latest info. Do you want to come hang out with me in 2 days? I'm going to teach how to represent a buyer in a new construction transaction. So I'm doing an updated version of it with, changes and things like that. It's 2 hours of CE credit, but I will tell you usually lasts 3 hours. So we'll do our best, but we're going to go through what the building industry is like right now, how you can represent a buyer, meaning what do you need to know? So we'll teach some basics on building homes, on trends with homes, things like that, how to market yourself as someone who can help clients with new homes. And how do you add value, right? What can you do to bring some value to the table in representing your clients? This Thursday, 10 o'clock. Questions about it? It says 10 to 12, but I think we'll probably end up being closer to 1. Honestly, it always goes over. I think we might have something happening. We'll figure it out. Yeah. What's it, 12? Okay, so we're going to be done by 12. I knew there was something. No, let's just be efficient. Be on time. And then let's be efficient and make sure that we can get all the questions answered and stuff. Okay. I knew there was something right after that. Okay, so if you don't have the newsletter, or if for some reason you're not getting that, let us know. It's a very important piece of information. Everything that's going on here, we put into this one spot. So scan this. If you're not getting it, we'll get you subscribed. Okay, that's all I got. I wanted to mention also, while this is coming up, you guys, thank you for being here. You care about your business. Farming is working big time. So all of the results are showing that the boots on the ground activities are making a difference right now, going out and mining for your clients. And so farming is such a great way, and they have amazing tools. We want to make sure that you guys are aware of them. Take it away. Let's go, Liz. You guys, give her some reason to want to be nice to you.
There's no sound?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
All right, if you're on Zoom, just make sure you speak up if you have any comments or questions. Same with you guys. I have two sign-in sheets. If you guys could just put your information on there, I'm going to send you guys some more assets and the slides after the presentation. There you go. All right. Okay, sweet. For those of you on Zoom, I do have stuff that I handed out this meeting. So I'm going to have my contact information at the end. So just make sure to reach out to me so I can send you all of the goodies that we have. So my name is Liz Adams. I'm with Real Advantage if you guys haven't met me yet. And you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Marcel Giles, I'm an escrow officer, and Liz is the marketing developer. So
Yeah.
this is her
So-
wheelhouse.
If you have questions about escrow or title, don't ask me. You don't want my answer. Marcel is your guy. So I have been in title for almost 4 years. My background is in entrepreneurship and business development for other companies as well. So when I first got brought in to interview for title, it was a referral. I didn't really even know what title was. I got brought in and I was like, so what does a title rep do? And the answer that I was given, this wasn't at Real Advantage, this was where I was previously, was you just take people out to lunch and you ask for business. And I was like, I'm going to last 2 weeks here. I don't know if that's what I want to do. So my goal in this and why I've stayed in this is because I get to sit down with business owners every single day and come up with strategies that work for you, which is really exciting. Even though you guys are all real estate agents, and I think we had a lender in the room. You guys all run your businesses differently. You guys all have different clientele. So we're going to run through some strategies on geofarming today and talk about it a little bit. But what I would love to see from you guys is for us to sit down together. Marcel is amazing at this as well. He's very creative and good at listening, figuring out what strategies could be helpful for you. So we can come up with something that works for you and your clients that you're excited about and that you're fueled about, right? Okay. You want to add anything?
Yeah, and the key is you're all different. And so this can be different for you. And this is going to be a tool in your tool chest. You might use it for a particular listing you have, and then another listing you won't, but it's there for you to help you grow. And as a new agent, it really helps you kind of, as Katie was great about SOI, right? Getting your sphere of influence growing. This can help you do that.
All right. Anyone have any questions before we start? Sweet. All right. So what is geofarming? Who knows what geofarming is? Yeah. No, you're good.
Marketing in a specific neighborhood.
Yeah. Nice. Yes. How many of you guys are currently geofarming or farming of some sort? Okay. A couple of you guys in the room. Sweet. So what is geofarming? Geofarming creates brand recognition and opportunities. Farming is a proven method of marketing your real estate business to a neighborhood or local area. It raises brand awareness, assists in capturing leads, earn referrals, and gains listings. Marcel mentioned at the beginning of this as well. This is also going to be your SOI that you're starting to build. If you don't have a big SOI, farming is a great way to start building that. These are going to be your people.
Yep. And I think I've been doing this for a long time. I get a lot of agents asking me for the next shiny thing. And so this is not necessarily the next shiny thing. It's something you really have to work at. I'm not a farmer either. My wife does all the gardening. She's really great at it, but you have to be patient, right? And so those who do farm or garden, you just got to be patient, know your field, know what's going to work. And so just you do what you know.
We call it farming for a reason. It's something you have to be consistent at. You have to nurture it. You have to water it, give it sunlight, all the things that your farm specifically needs, right? Because one farm is going to be different from another farm. Okay. All right. A common misconception is geofarming is solely delivering postcards intermittently to an area. This is something I hear often, and I hear people do this quite often and don't get results. But geofarming is creating targeted lists for door knocking, direct mail, phone calls, cultivating community, and more.
Yeah, and so we'll talk about really, especially the cultivating community. You know, Mike's been talking about, right, value. We got to bring value as agents to your clients. And so this is going to help you bring, one way to help you bring value as you kind of get out there and get back with the people and build community. So.
Yeah, and to feed off of that, something Marcel and I, you'll hear us say a lot is sustainability. Creating sustainability within your business and having community is huge in that, having good relationships. Can you guys agree with that? Yeah. All right, so here are some quotes. Tom Ferry, if you guys know him, he is a huge geofarming fiend. This is a quote from him. Geofarming is one of the surest ways to build long-term dominance over an area.
And then Chris Heller, geofarming is a lead generation strategy that is known to bring in high quality leads in your chosen target area. If done correctly, you can capture at least 30% of all your sales within your particular scope.
Yeah, if done correctly, right? That's a big part of it.
Yep.
All right, so here are a couple geofarming tips that we have. The purpose of geofarming, it gives a narrowed focus to execute on a well-planned strategy, okay? So you have to have a targeted effort, builds SOI and pipeline. You got to stay in your wheelhouse. Remember that each farm is unique and consistency and patience is really important. So we'll be touching on some software that we have as a title company that we offer you that helps you with farming. It makes things really, really easy. But that software isn't helpful if there's no strategy involved. So that is the big point of this, is like, what is your wheelhouse? How can we stay consistent? Remembering that there's psychographics of each area. What are the people in your farm into, and how can we cultivate that?
Yeah, and it's going to be different for, again, a listing, or maybe you know of an area that's got a high turnover rate, or maybe you have an area where you have some buyers who want to be in that area, and that'll help you target that area for your particular purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so two common types of farming. Marcel and I sit down and strategize with agents almost daily on this, and what we see the farming use for the most is open houses is one. You want to dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so you have an open house, and now it seems like listings take a little bit longer than, you know, maybe few years back, right? And so you have a little bit more time to farm the area. So you can grow your farm as big as you want, but you know, kind of keep it tight where you can go out and you can knock some doors, get some interest for your listings. I know in sitting in the productivity coaching classes, Nick is great about with some strategy on if he wants to put a sign onto a neighbor, like, hey, can I put a sign on, a directional sign, right? So I'll go knock on the door, ask for permission. Well, you can do that. Now you got a name of who you're going to be asking this to. And you can keep track through the software, your conversation. Maybe the person was very nice, maybe they weren't. You can keep all track of that. And as you go drive interest to your listing, you can again keep track of all that, know if they're a renter, if they're owner occupied, what their names are, how long they've been there. And so all this information we pull from the county records, and the software just organizes it. So it's all public records. So if anyone asks you, hey, where'd you get this information? It's just free. We just organize it through the software.
Yeah. And some of those things that we like to hit and make sure that we create specific lists for you is the renters in the area. We can find out that information for you. Who's the most likely to sell? And a great one to market to is investors in the area, letting them know what's available, see if they want to pick something else up, and you can contact them, which is really cool. So I see often farms fail because you create a farm of like 300 people and you treat everybody in that farm the same. Yeah. Go
Sorry
ahead.
to cut you off. Do you have tools to filter it by those things? You
Mhm.
do? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So you can just create a specific list of just that.
Can you do multifamily as well?
Yeah,
Like,
you
you can-
can. You can filter by property type.
Okay.
Yeah. So to go off of that, exactly, we create those big farms, 300 to 500 plus. We treat everybody the same. You're spending money, you're spending time, vice versa, same thing. And you get exhausted and burnt out, and you spent a lot of money and you're not seeing those results. So that's why we like making those targeted lists, so you know how to market to those people, where to spend your money, and know what you're doing. And then the other type of farming we see is your consistent farming area. So this is usually around where you live or where you want to do most of your business. How many of you guys are farming around where you live right now? Cool. Couple of you. Sweet.
That's where we tell you to start, because you know the area, you know what's going on. You can, again, bring some value. Well, you know, you get, you know, there's other agents in your area, but then are they farming? Are they going out and knocking doors, doing events, providing some type of value, a dumpster, a ice cream truck, whatever, you know, a food drive? The farm will help you kind of keep track of all that and be consistent with that.
Yeah. So this is where you're trying to become that go-to realtor. So when someone is talking about buying or selling their home, they're thinking of you. Okay. All right. Success story. This is one of our clients. They were farming out in Springdale, Utah. They had consistent direct mail effort. They were doing about, I think, once a month, and they were also door knocking and doing some events as well. And in 3 months, they landed 4 land deals and a $1.2 million listing. So if you are consistent in that area and speaking to your people in a way that lands, you're going to get some good results. All right. Best practices.
Yeah. So again, that's why we say maybe start in your own area because you know it. I was talking to an agent, and she recently sold in her neighborhood, and some people were selling as well. And no one knew that she was an agent in the area. And so you can't just assume that people know you're an agent. And so you really got to work your area. So as you kind of go through, we're going to probably give some ideas here down the road, but you know, if there's a dog park near you, you can really push that, have a, you know, some type of an event where includes a lot of dogs. Maybe there's some type of field where there's maybe baseball or soccer, some type of sport, and you can do something there. So really know your area, do some research, but again, start what you're doing already. And so that really helps you kind of save some time. Don't reinvent the wheel. Do something you're already spending your time and energy into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having an area where you're going to relate to the people as well is really important. If you're going to be spending time out there, making sure that those are the people you want to be spending time with too.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Size. So we usually say this is 500 or less. Honestly, I say 300 or less. If you're brand new to farming, I say around 200 or less. This is something with my business development experience is really important, especially if you're spending time and money on something, is you want to have a focus group and making sure that the efforts that you're putting in and the time and money that you're putting in are going to yield the results that you're looking for. And so often I'll see agents go for like 1,000-person farm and spend all this time and money and then be like, oh shoot, this isn't even what I want to be doing. And they've lost a ton of money doing it, a ton of time doing it. So if you're brand new to farming and you don't know what you want to do and what's going to work for you, start with a small focus group. When you start getting those results, that's when you start expanding and adding.
Yeah. Don't bite off more than what you can chew.
Yes.
And then you get, maybe it doesn't go great the first time and you kind of get a little bit down on yourself for the process. And so you maybe started too big.
Yeah.
No.
Just be realistic. Yeah.
We did.
I walked in today and I was hoping Marcel was going to be wearing light blue. He usually does.
If you look
so.
at my closet, it's probably a pretty common color. So
I wanted
good
to
odds. Yeah.
All right. Accessibility. This is really big as well. Are the doors really far apart? Are the homes really far apart? Something to think about. Is it gated? I had an agent create a list for an area that they really wanted to go into, and they came back to me and they're like, oh, I went and drove to the area. I can't even get in. So it's not going to work for me. And is it easy for you to get to? There are some agents that will pick a farm that's like an hour away. The likelihood of being consistent and seeing those people often lessens. And so these are things to keep in mind so you are successful in your farm.
Yep. That's why good start in your own home.
Yeah. All right. Turnover. So how many of you guys know what turnover rate is? Sweet. Can someone tell me what turnover rate is? Or wait for the mic real quick. Yeah, thank you.
The amount of people that move out and move into an area within 12 months.
Right, perfect. So if we're doing a farm of 100 homes and 4 homes have been sold in the past 4 months, you're going to have a turnover rate of 4%. Okay. So a few years ago, I would say look for 6% or more. With the market that we're in right now, I say look for 4% or more. That's usually a pretty good point to be at. On our software, you can also see the turnover rate in the farm that you're looking at, which is pretty cool.
But again, if there's an area where an area you like, and maybe that's an area people want to be in, there's not gonna be a lot of turnover.
Yeah.
Because people want to get there. And so you might want to be, again, get your value there. So when someone does sell, then you're the contact because it's a high popular area.
Yeah.
I was just going to add, so the particular area where I live and where I farm, the turnover rate is like 0.5%. It's really low. People don't like to move from there. In fact, when they do move, sometimes they move from one house to another house in the neighborhood. It's that bad. But anyway, but what I have found is it's still really valuable because the people do know me. I've lived there for 14 years. They do know me. I'm not exactly shy. So even if they aren't using me for a transaction, they're referring me for a transaction. And so the farm still has value because they know, like, and trust me, and they will refer me. And so it still has value.
Yeah. I love that, Dailies, and I completely agree. One of the agents that I started working with when I first started wanted to farm Olympus Cove. Do you guys think the turnover rate's very good in Olympus Cove? No, not good. But he still farms there 3.5 years later because of the referrals that he's getting. The people love him there. They're so excited to see him. They want to help their kid or their grandkid get into a home or want to buy another investment property. So that network that he's created is massive. So thank you for mentioning that, Dailies, because that is important to think about as well, is who's this farm's network and how can I utilize that as well?
Use a farm different for whatever you need, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
There's so many different strategies. Okay, competition. This is something we hear about a lot of, well, there's probably a realtor that lives in my farm. Yeah, probably. There are a lot of realtors in Utah, right? But not a lot of them are consistent. Would you say?
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah.
And you guys know, like, actually the top agents, they're doing most of the work. And yeah, so you're right.
Yeah.
It's not happening. You guys see what's coming in the mail. You see what's coming and knocking on your door. You know what's happening in your area. So you can be the one that's doing that.
Yeah. So does an agent have 25% or more? Do 2 or 3 agents have 50% or more? This usually isn't the case. Don't get caught up too much in focusing on the competition. This is when people get caught in analysis paralysis and end up spinning their wheels, and it's not good for our mindset. It's not good for our business. Just start. Okay.
So there's, in my neighborhood, periodically I get mailers from agents. But there's one agent that I consistently get stuff from, and his name's Mike. I don't know if you knew that. I get stuff consistently from Mike and his wife all the time, and it's consistent, where others, you know, depending on what happens, but Mike and his wife are consistent with that. And if I didn't already know them, right, I would see that as a consistent message. And the message always says some interesting thing they do, but it's consistent. So yep.
I'll take this one.
Yeah, so I think the key is we all know, you know, you got to time block. You got to schedule this. If you have the intent, it's not going to really happen. So I'm a big calendar person. If it's not on the calendar, it really doesn't happen. So I think with this, you really have got to say, okay, how much time do I want to drive into it? That's why we say start off small, see where you kind of get some traction, kind of get a feel, and then kind of time block off schedule from there. And be flexible. But yeah, maybe on 1 month, you're going to do some mailers. The other time, you do some door knocking. Maybe as the holidays are coming up, you're going to maybe do some charity work as far as, you know, knocking on doors, asking for some community help. Maybe again, there's an event coming up, a holiday. There's a lot of different reasons. So kind of plan out your year and where you're going to hit it, so you can be consistent and be a little bit of a variety there.
Yeah.
So.
And in your packets, we have a example calendar of how you could plan this out. And then we have a blank one as well if you want to start filling it out. All right, tracking. We kind of touched on this a little bit, but in our app, it's really cool. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so on one of the farming tools, as you go, you create everything, you create your farm in the software on your laptop or your desktop, and then it automatically will sync to the app on your phone. So as you're out, maybe knocking on the doors or in an event or whatnot, you can keep track of who you spoke to and what you spoke about. You can rate it. You can mark them as this prospect, a lead. Maybe they weren't interested, but they were nice. Maybe they weren't nice. Maybe some of the people that Carrie's been talking to, those are nice people, right? So you can mark all that down. Then as you consistently farm that area, you can go back and then you can search. Say, I want all my 4+ scores, or I want all my prospects, or all my leads. You can create that list, and then you can go tackle those.
Yeah.
And so you can really be specific as you are farming it over time. You can really create a different database and use it.
Okay, I was just wondering if in your system it shows like the neighborhoods that you can't not. So if I'm making up another farm, is it going to tell me in here whether or not I can? knock
It
their
won't.
doors?
That's why it's
Okay.
got, you kind of have to know the area, right? So if you're going to
Yes.
be doing an area, East Sandy, you might be grabbing some pepperwood, right? And so you got to have to be a little careful there. Maybe some of these 55+ communities are gated, so you just got to know the area a little bit. Yeah, but you can, when you're looking at the map, say you create a farm, you can zoom in and kind of take a look of what kind of the house is, because it's all stuff that kind of pulls up. You can look at it, maybe see if there's a community, whatnot. So you can kind of do some little research that way.
Yeah, good question.
Yep.
All right. Success story. Sky just talking about I religiously hit a particular area and average listing every month. I walked the street, I put in flyers and did the work. All right. GeoFarming mistakes. Mistake number 1 is you don't see immediate results and you give up. This is something I see very often. We're always looking for that quick fix, something to get some business from and drum some business from. But this sustainable business comes from consistency and hard work, right?
That's right. Yeah, and I was going to mention it later, but like I get a lot of requests, maybe not so much now because they're kind of low, but NODs, notice of defaults. And we can provide notice of defaults, but everyone knows right now that there's not a lot of notice of defaults you might pick up. So I think we're as sales, we're always looking for the next shiny lure. This is one that you really got to be consistent with.
Yeah.
And you guys probably have heard of agents who have success from farming. And the key is they're consistent.
Yeah, I agree. Mistake number 2 is you don't know where to begin. That's where your team leaders, people that you work with can come in. We can come in and help you out. I love farming. I think it's amazing. And I'd love to sit down with you, Marcel and I both. We love creating strategies that are tailored to you, not just for everybody.
And we'd love to hear what's not working too, right? So.
Yes. Yeah. Mistake number 3 is not understanding the scope. I think a lot of people don't understand how time intensive farming can be. So making sure that you're time blocking those things out so you know what to expect. Do you want to add anything else on that?
Yeah, that's why we say start small.
Yeah.
So you don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah. Nick? Oh, do we have a mic? Woo.
One right here.
I'll just come.
So I don't know if I can do this. Okay. So probably the biggest issue that I've seen with people is they don't understand the scope and they expect to get more out of it than they want. So let's say that you do a farm that's 200 people and maybe it's got a turnover of 4%. That's 8 deals out of the year that you're going to get out of it. And the most you could do is probably 25%. They said that would be like full saturation, right? So that's 2 deals. So it's like you're doing all this stuff and you're only going to get 2 deals out of it, which can still be good. Like that would still be a positive farm. But I think sometimes if you're expecting to get 30 deals out of it, and then there's just not that many there.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely right. And that's why we say start in your area, because you're going to be more inclined to farm your neighborhood. So then you can kind of go the long-term success of that. Next time you want to talk, Nick, I'll be right there for you. And so, yeah, I think, farm your area, but then we talk about listings. Again, you might hit it different, right? For a listing, it's not going to be a 3 to 6 month process. Maybe you just want to hit some doors. It's got a high turnover rate. You want to draw some people to your listing for whatever reason. So yeah, you're gonna work it different for whatever you're looking for. But yeah, it's a good point. Yep.
Yeah.
So you blend it with other stuff.
Yeah. Mistake number 4, we've talked about this a lot, is not being consistent. And then number 5, I see this happen a lot, kind of goes with consistency, is agents will just keep changing their farming area like every 2 months. You're not going to see results if you're just jumping back and forth and back and forth. Say try for 3 to 6, more likely 6, you'll start seeing some results. Maybe even less if you're super consistent with it, but be mindful of the area that you're picking. All right, let's farm. Okay, door knocking. How many of you guys door knock? Kind of
1.5.
a little 3. Cool. Okay. Honestly, if I were an agent, door knocking sounds terrifying to me. So I totally get it. But I will say this is hands down one of the best ways to use our farming tool, especially for open houses. I'm going to give you guys a lot of tools to feel more confident door knocking. Okay. Because this is something that I think about a lot. Okay. If I were an agent, what are things that would get in my way? What are tools that would be helpful for me? Because I know if I'm face to face with people, that's when I do my best. And so what are tools that I can have where I'm confident knocking on the door and I don't feel like a burden or annoying or whatever else, whatever story I have built up in my head, right? So we're going to give you guys some tools to feel more confident talking to people door knocking.
Yep.
Want to add anything else?
No, yeah, we'll give you some ideas here.
Yeah. Okay, direct mail is great. It can be expensive, but with a targeted and focused approach, you can size it to fit your budget. Do you want to expand on this part?
Yeah, I think you got to be careful with this one because that's really where your expenses can go crazy. And so I think as you are maybe knocking doors and you kind of feel you're getting a little bit of traction, then you can maybe try that part of it.
Yeah.
You know, of course, you got your just listed, just sold mailers you can do on your listings, but yeah, just don't throw it out there and hope it sticks. Do a little research.
Something that I find to be pretty successful if you are going to spend money on mailers, and this is something our software can help you with, is if you have a listing that would be a good investment property, we can pull the mailing addresses for the owners of the investment properties in that area and send them a mailer letting them know what's listed and see if they're interested. Usually that's worthwhile spending some money on. Does anyone want to add anything else who's been doing direct mail? Yeah.
Gonna say, if you're working that kind of a list though, take the time to do your homework and make sure you're not just sending them to trusts.
Yeah.
Because the software pulls anything that's not owner occupied, but how it determines that is just if the mailing address is different than the physical address.
Yes.
And so sometimes that simply means, like in my particular case, mine is under my trust and it goes to a PO box.
Yeah.
So that flags me as non-owner occupied, even though I've lived there for 14 years.
Right.
So just do your homework, look at the names, I mean, it will usually say in the name that, you know, something about a trust or the abbreviations for it. Just take the time to do your homework. It just, especially if you're geofarming your own neighborhood, it makes it less embarrassing.
Definitely. Definitely. Okay. All right. Phone calling. So as a title company, we cannot provide phone numbers for you. We can't pay for them, but we can negotiate with great data companies to get them to you for a very good price. So we can train you guys how to access those. You can get it through our software. Really awesome to use. I know I've sat down with a couple of you. We made a list for your guy looking for a duplex, which is cool. So you can create some specific lists to find listings, which are awesome right now in this industry. One really good one that you can use, so you pick a geographical area. Let me back up a little bit. On this software, you can pick a geographical area, you can pick a county, you can pick in-state, out-of-state, wherever else, and you can click on a filter called move-up buyers, and it's going to automatically put in a filter of amount of equity. Do they have kids? How old are they? How long have they lived there? All of this amazing information, and then you can get clean phone numbers to call. They're all scrubbed.
Yep. And so there's within the software, you can do search whatever you want, but there's like some instant lists that the software kind of gives you an idea. One of them is move up buyers, homeowners with equity, empty nesters, distressed properties, absentee owners, out-of-state owners, cash buyers, and negative equity. So there's some things in there. If you kind of trying to figure out who do I want to search for, there's some instant lists that you can jump in there. But the move up buyers, I think, is a great one because it might be someone who got into a smaller home, a townhome, condo, And they got in, great. They've been there for a while. They got some equity, but now they just need a little bit more elbow room. And so they're looking for the next step. You can talk to them about making that next step, selling the current one, keeping it as an investment. So there's a lot of conversation there. So this, you can again get phone numbers, you can knock on doors, and really, you know what's there, where they're at, and you can really start that conversation.
Does your list that you could get from the data companies filter out from the do not call list?
Yep.
It does.
Yeah, so let's say you search, you got 1,000, you hit the phone numbers and it'll pull everything that's not on the do not call list. And so sometimes it's like 30%. So yeah.
Another thing that I'll see agents use this for often is if they have a buyer that's looking for something very specific and they can't find anything that's on market, we can filter so much information and find potential off-market deals where you can send a golden letter out of like, hey, I have a buyer for your property. You can go knock those doors. If there's phone numbers, you can call them. So it's a really useful tool. I've been using this tool since the beginning of my career, and it's been very, very powerful for a lot of agents.
And you get very specific on everything, demographics, age, I mean, obviously
Occupation.
property type, occupation, type of loan. I mean,
It's pretty powerful.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're looking for something very specific, it'll help you out.
All right, farming with a purpose. So this is something that I'm very passionate about. I actually, when I went to family reunion, this is something that I had come up with, I think like about a year prior. It's not brand new, people do this. It's just like a term that I coined, I guess. I went to a bunch of, were they called breakouts at family reunion, right? Of people who started their farm by working with charities. So there was a lady out in Atlanta and she farmed around this clubhouse. And she called everybody that lived around their clean phone numbers and was like, hey, I'm doing a coat drive. I'm so-and-so from this brokerage. Do you have anything that I could come and pick up? This is who I'm donating it to. So she shows up, she gives them the card, she gives them a flyer. It's a soft introduction. Hey, I'd love to come drop by a thank you card later. Is that okay with you? Can I get your phone number for any future events that I'm doing? It's a soft landing, and especially right now with the holidays coming up, it's a great time to get involved. So something that I didn't put in your folders and why it's important you have your email on there is I have a list of vetted charities that you guys can pick from that are all in the Salt Lake area. If there's something on there that you wish was on there, please email me back and say, hey, I want this to be on there so I can send it out to more agents and they can help provide that as well. So this is where you represent a charity or non-for-profit, go around neighborhoods and get people involved. I say pick something you're passionate about, because if I'm not passionate about what I'm talking about, I'm a big energy gal, like you're gonna feel that from me, right? Also thinking about the area that you're in, what are the people in that area gonna be excited about as well? Soft introduction, this builds rapport, it gets community buy-in, you're there to support the community, and it's perfect for the holiday season.
And I think it helps with motivation. You don't want to door knock. Maybe you want to try farming out, but you're not really motivated. You're scared to do it. This is kind of helps you. There's a purpose there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I help a lot of agents create plans and strategies for this. I have an agent who's doing one for the Utah Food Bank. I even got them connected with a person who helps build out logos and brands on swag. And so they made bags with their logos on them and just gave them to the person in the house of like, hey, here's the bag. I'm going to be back on Thursday to pick it up. Can I get your number? I'll text you and remind you the day before. Is that okay with you? Right?
Yep. And I know an agent who got just plastic bags and had their logo put on a plastic bag. It was inexpensive because they got like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000. So they just had boxes and then they just put them on the door with a card, stapled the card, and kind of made it easy and cost effective.
Yeah. Does anyone want to add anything onto this? Has anyone done something like this before? Cool. All right. Another tool. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you guys have preferred lenders, so you can use them. Obviously, there's a lot of different loan programs out there. Things are changing. Interest rates are improving, whatnot. And as you guys have been having conversations with buyers on can they qualify with, what can they qualify with, use your preferred lender to provide some type of pamphlet or something that you can take as you knock on doors. You can, through this software, sort all the ones out that you know are non-owner occupied. And you can go knock on those doors, then you can have that conversation. You know, they don't own, and you can provide them with some information of maybe things out there. And if you're scared to go knock doors by yourself, invite your preferred lender to maybe go with you and spend an hour knocking doors and see what you can get. But they can help you provide with a flyer of some sort to provide.
I don't have to come squat by you this time.
Oh, well, I have done this a couple of times with a lender, and it's really valuable because I can be taking information in my phone, she can be talking, or I can be talking, and I'm not going to share this with any other agent, but I'm also have two people there, so it's a little safer in door knocking.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we got deals on it. When the prices were lower, because the place we did it was at a basically a low cost, low income apartments. And so we were able to get deals off of that. I think we spent maybe 10 hours total and got 2 deals, and like, that's totally worth it, right?
It's good ROI.
So if you can get a place where they allow you to knock, and maybe it's not low income, because now it's really hard for the low income people to qualify for that to actually qualify to buy a house, but anyway, it was great with my lender.
Yeah.
But your lender will know which questions to ask to see if that's something that you need to continue to follow up with or not, right? If they say, hey, I want to buy, and they don't qualify, but your lender say, hey, I think they're close, then you can continue to follow up with them so they can be an asset to you on that. And then I think, yeah, power of 2, right? That's going to help you feel safe out there by yourself.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is use people that you're working with, your lenders.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so here are a couple ideas, few more ideas while you're door knocking. When it comes to door knocking, I think often people will forget, what's my next step? What's the next reason that I'm contacting someone? So I have a little example here, and once again, I'll email you guys all these slides so you'll have them. This is to anyone you run into while you're door knocking. So you can say hi, you can put in their name. Once again, on our software, I don't know if we mentioned this, but you can put in notes. So if you're talking to a renter at the house, you're not going to have their name on the profile. You're going to have the owner's name. So in your notes, you can write down their name, what they're into. So next time you go talk to them or want to send them a letter, you can make it more personal. People like to be seen, heard, and understood. And so if you're showing them that you remembered what they said, that's going to build that relationship and that rapport. Yeah. So you can say something like, it was nice to meet you today, a line of personalization, your dogs are cute, love the plants in the front walkway, etc. I'm an area specialist. I'm always available for real estate guidance if you need it. Thanks for your time. Look forward to seeing you again. Thank you in advance for your referrals. You don't have to put that in, whatever you want to do. You guys can even copy and paste this, put it into ChatGPT, add your brand voice, bada bing, bada boom, whatever you want.
This one's Liz's.
Okay.
Yeah, she's awesome at this.
I'm a geek about B2B, business to business connections. So in my past businesses that I've owned and helped other people run, business to business is how we scaled things. And this is something I feel like could be talked about even more in real estate. So business to business is where my business is going to collaborate with someone else's business, and we're going to work together for our networks to come together for a mutual benefit. How many of you guys are using B2B in your business right now? You are right now? Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yeah. Do you have a question?
Who are you partnering with, and how has it been helpful for you?
So a couple of, well, you can't really partner with lenders, but
Yeah.
You can form good relationships there. A lot of the people that I work with are investors, and they have their own businesses. So just kind of aligning with them. I think that if your problems solve someone else's problems, then you have a solution. And usually that's with other businesses. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity in that.
Yeah.
I prefer that because then it's more numbers driven, data driven. And I'm just kind of more about that than anything else. So
It's a bit more efficient.
yeah.
If it fits your business,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nick, were you raising your hand as well?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I partner with some businesses, but more than that, I do like maybe it's not a good comment. I work with agents all over the country
Yeah.
to get referrals, and I'm not as good as it. I'm not as good at it locally, but I think the name of the game is like if you're someone who refers people often, no matter what that's for, you'll typically also be a person who receives a lot of referrals.
Definitely. The law of reciprocity in this is real, and I see it so often. And I'm glad you brought up working with other agents as well, because that is business to business. It is important. You guys need each other. So something,
I have a comment.
yeah.
I started doing closing gifts with local small businesses for wherever we closed. So like for some of my buyers, like one of them, I found out that they like to get massages, and so I went for a closing gift. I went to like the local like small business there, and just said, hey, like I'm a local realtor here. I just closed some clients down the street and wanted to get a closing gift, like a gift card. But I've stayed in contact with the ones that I've done that with. And so it's been good because I've had a couple of them, like we've gained relationships with those business owners, and I've had a couple referrals doing things that way.
I love that. Yeah, that's amazing. It's nice because you come in contact with one business owner, and if they have the clientele that you're looking for, that one contact becomes like 30, 200, thousands of contacts that are going to be referred back to you that you don't have to constantly stay on top of. You're staying on top of that one contact, that business owner, right? Then you can even collaborate together, do events together. I'm working with an agent right now that's doing a doggy costume contest. And so she's going to a bunch of areas or businesses in her farm that do like grooming and things like that. And they're inviting all of their people, and she's inviting all of her people. And you can lower the cost of the events by charging people to have a booth there. You could involve a charity into it. So you have a raffle. Like there's so many different things to do. And it's something that I did a lot of. And I found it very successful and a really easy way to get in front of a lot of people and build community. Okay.
Got a hand.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you guys have heard about Nextdoor, but Nextdoor has been a super cool platform, social platform to build those relationships, because a lot of it is B2B. So I know that we have our own preferred vendors here at KW, but creating a list of your own personal contact contractors, painters, handymen, landscapers, those are all people that usually have, a repeating customer base. And I've partnered with my own vendors like that through Nextdoor because they're specialized in an area. So going back to the geofarming, I think that kind of bridges that as well. So I think that's a cool opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Delise.
I just watched a video yesterday that was a clip from Mega Camp about a couple of agents that really use events as part of their farming. And one of the things they did with, talking about business to business is she also did one where she invited in the vendors to set up booths and wasn't afraid to charge them a booth rate for it. So that helped offset the cost. And so up to that point, we ask our vendors, you guys included, to help us, on different events. But I never thought about actually charging them, like a flat rate so it was consistent to participate in bigger events. You wouldn't do it necessarily for a small event, but I thought that was actually like, oh, okay. Like, I guess could be a thing. Like, I just didn't realize that.
It's a business opportunity for them to get in front of people. So it totally makes sense for them to spend money on. It's something that they're spending money on doing other places as well. So I want to be mindful.
Right?
Yeah.
I think we have
Oh,
time, right?
Yeah.
We don't have like 1 minute?
Oh, okay.
That's
Sorry.
fine.
We'll keep
Okay.
going. If you want to talk more B2B, I have done so much of this and I geek out about it and I'm really passionate about it. And I think it can be very beneficial. You guys are smiling at me. You can tell that I'm a nerd about it. I think it's very beneficial to businesses. Okay. Do you want to hop in?
Yeah, just again, local events. I think that's huge. So if you're going to have some events, get some local people there. obviously local businesses. This is not, taking your card and putting it on a pin board at the local restaurant. It's really building those relationships up. So I always look to see who's on there just for
Yeah.
fun.
Number one tip for geofarming. Can you guys guess it?
Oh. Boom.
Yeah, boom. All right. Do you guys have any questions or takeaways or something that we didn't cover that you think would be beneficial for the group? Because we're all here to support each other. Yeah. Yeah. So our platform is realadvantageutah.com. If you want to meet with us on it, there's like a little flyer in all of your folders that has my QR code on the back of it. Actually, if you guys scan that, if it's too far away, it's also in your pamphlet, and you guys can sit down with us and I'll create your account with you and make sure that you have all of that training set up. You'll also get access to be able to purchase those phone number specific lists. Yeah, it's also on your mobile device as well.
But it's easier to set everything up on your laptop, and then the mobile's there to just help out.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate
All right.
you.
Give Adrian enough time.
Yeah.
I'll introduce Adrian. Is that all right? I know Adrian.
Thank you.
I've used Adrian. I've known him for a while. So you guys probably have done your own projects or work with your clients, and you're like, hey, you go to all the different areas to try to pick out samples and whatnot. And you got to bring them home. Sometimes they charge you, then you forget to take them back, et cetera, et cetera. Adrian and his team, they will bring their showroom to you. And it's awesome. So then you can lay everything out in your home, in the area, kind of see how the light hits it, how things feel in your home. And so I've used them. It's been great. I don't know if that was a good introduction. Adrian, I'll let you.
Marcel, you're
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. Oh, Marcel is great. You have a great connection here. Yeah, so my name is Adrian Orm. I'm with Floor Coverings International, and I'll get out of the road here. So as Marcel mentioned, so we do all types of flooring, and we do carpet, luxury vinyl, laminate, tile, hardwood, sand and finish. And as Marcel mentioned, what we seek to do, I believe, and I've read this in several books, but mentality of, I believe we're in the experience economy, as I've heard it referred to, where people are looking for experiences. And so I try to think about in my own business, how can I make the experience for my customers better? And I'm sure as you think about what you're doing with real estate and as you have your clients, how can you make the experience for your clients that much easier and better, provide them information? I love what you guys were talking about here towards the end, B2B relationships, to provide them with connections and make their experience with you that much more beneficial and be adding value where they're really grateful that they're working with you because of the connections and the simplicity in which you're able to get them the stuff that they need. So this is a picture of, so we have mobile showrooms with over 3,000 samples, and our goal is to take everything to a customer, right? And we can even do that. I'm sure some of you have overheard, some of you have some clients that are out of state, investors. I've done many consultations just over Zoom and helping clients who are out of state. They're investing in a property here in Utah, and we're able to help them just over using technology, help them with selections, help them with budget to freshen up a home that they want to prepare for rental, or maybe they're looking to flip it, or whatever it might be. And so we take everything to them. Interesting fact. So as you're showing homes, so I was trying to think about what sort of things may be on your mind as it relates to flooring. Something that I learned from a designer is she talked about what are the first things or impressions that people have when they initially walk into a home. What do you guys think? What are some of the first things that someone notices when they walk into a home? What was that? The smell. That is actually number one. What is the smell like in the cleanliness, right? Just the smell and cleanliness of a home. That's the first thing. The second thing is decor, largely flooring.
Because that's, especially if someone's even coming into your own home. I know I do this myself. I walk into a home, I'm kind of looking at the cleanliness in the floors and I'm trying to assess personally, okay, do they want me to take my shoes off? Like but it also sets the tone for the entire home. A lot of designers will recommend that when designing a home, pick out the flooring you love first, and then a lot of the decor, paint, colors, another thing correlate with even cabinetry and things will correlate with the floor. So that's something that's really important. It's something that people notice as they're walking into homes. So you obviously, for those who are looking to prepare to sell a home, sometimes flooring needs to be freshened up. And we can do some things to make things very easy. Once again, come to them, help them find some budget-friendly solutions. We can also help them with payments, financing, but nothing that requires them to, that's going to hurt their credit, because they're looking for a mortgage and stuff like that, and they don't want anything that's going to impact their credit. So we can help them by getting their flooring project done, but then putting them in a position where they don't have to pay for that project until they close on the sale of their home. So some things like that we've done to try and help your clients and provide them with a better experience and make things easier for them. We also just call it as a way for you to say thanks to your clients. If anybody would like, I've got these $250 gift cards. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if anybody would like these, you can give them to your clients. So if you're in a position where you have a client that maybe needs some new flooring, or they're buying their new home and then that's one of the things they want to change out, you can give them one of these gift cards and say, hey, thanks for working with me. Here's a gift card. You can make it look like you shelled out $250 out of your own pocket to give them a gift card. Say, thanks for working with me. I recommend Floor Coverings International. They'll take $250 off your project. Appreciate you working with me. Just as a simple little thing for you to enhance their experience with you and also help them get something that they might need, not only to sell their home or to freshen up a new home that they just purchased. So those are some ways that we hope that we can work with you, create a partnership and relationship to where we can help you create a even better experience with the clients you're working with and help them with flooring. Do you guys have any questions about flooring? We're also very big on just education. The more you can provide information, the better decisions people can make. You guys have any questions about flooring? Oh. Yes, actually, we've done a number of jobs, like particularly like in the Park City area, and some high-end luxury vinyls are actually very popular, especially for people who are worried about, you know, entryways and moisture and stuff. Some people have pools, so we're not talking about, you know, the entry-level luxury vinyl, which is usually around $3 a square foot. We're getting into luxury homes where you're talking about $6 to $8 plus a square foot, and with some beautiful visuals, better thickness that creates a better feel underfoot. So those are definitely some things. Part of the reason, obviously, waterproof with luxury vinyl is part of the appeal, but your color options would almost seem infinite versus what you get with real hardwood. So that's part of the appeal, especially if people are still wanting to get into some gray tones and some different dynamics that way. So, yeah. Any other questions about flooring? Yeah. Yeah, we do. Yep, we do. And we work with all the major manufacturers as well, if that's ever, so Shaw, Mohawk, Cortec. So we work directly with all those major manufacturers, and there's not too much that we can't get our hands on. So. Yeah, so I have business cards. I'll give those all to you if anybody wants these $250 gift cards. Has our contact information on it as well. And so happy to give anybody those by way of our contact information. Yeah. So, sorry, say that one more. Yeah, you probably stepped in a little bit later. So yeah, we absolutely have worked with many home buyers that you know, we work with them to where they don't pay for their project until after the closing of their home. So, yep. Yeah, so we're very competitive in our pricing. And flooring obviously has wide, I mean, the ranges in terms of materials are significant, but we're every bit as competitive as a big box retailer. Floor Coverings International is a franchise. So part of the benefit for us as a company is we're able to get great pricing directly from manufacturers. And so that really helps us be very competitive with any major retailer out there. Yeah, if that's something they need, we'll work with them and figure out the best situation to help them out with that. Yeah, buyer, seller, yeah, either or. Yeah, we'll work with your client for sure. Yep. Any other questions? Oh, yeah. Well, we greatly appreciate you inviting us out here, and love to meet all of you. And I'll go around and, like I said, anybody who like these $250 gift cards and our contact information, I'd love to give that to you. And please let us know how we can help you provide a better experience to your clients. Appreciate it. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yep. I'll get you some. You bet. Thank you.